Hey scribers, this is an overview video of the default narrative template that we ship with ScribeWare. This is a template that is designed for home inspectors to be able to win business from their competition by writing better reports. The emphasis here is your report is your marketing and it's your best liability protection. This is some feedback we got from a scriber the other day that I've been a licensed architect and general contractor since 1978, and your report is without a doubt the best one that I have ever seen. And that's just somebody that started using the default narrative template, and it's really working for them and helping them grow their business. So I want to unpack this template and we'll kind of show you some of the features and how you can use it. Okay, so if you are going to open up the report, you could go up here to create report. And I'm going to go load my Orca residential, which is really kind of pretty much the same thing as the narrative residential that we ship with. So this is going to start loading all the library and stuff. And here we have it. And so you'll see over here on the left side are all the chapters. And we could go into the heating and cooling section, for example, and just look around. This template has 193 required fields, so you can go through and start filling out natural gas. There's quite a bit of description built in, so this template has no CYA stuff built in as a default. And what I mean by that is if you go to the heating and cooling section, there isn't like a whole disclaimer in the front. But this is a cool example. As soon as you check gas forced air furnace, you're going to get a heat exchanger limitation. And the advantage of doing this in a template is now all of the CYA type information you're putting in your report is specific to the building. I've never wanted to have a report where I have a stucco limitation in the report and the house doesn't have stucco, and I don't want a heat exchanger limitation in my report if the house has a heat pump. So that's kind of how the limitations are set up. I could give you one more example. We could go into water heaters, and as soon as you hit relief valve present not tested, it gives a whole description of what a relief valve is, and actually that the manufacturers of the relief valve recommend people test them annually, and why we don't test them as part of a home inspection. So, and all of this stuff is editable. So if you like this concept but you want to change it, you could go in and make some changes here. You can change some stuff, and then you could come up here and hit update library. So that'll keep the link there, so that if you just hit this little link, you'll get it still, but you'll have your language in there. So you'll find with a lot of these pull downs that we've actually built tons of things in. We've got the manufacturer of the water heater. We've got the age, and Bradford White actually has a code. We've built the code in. And all of the things you see that are orange will automatically get you an observation. So a 2008 water heater for me gets a kind of monitoring item that, hey, this thing might be getting close to the end of its life. And that auto-populates. If you don't want that to auto-populate, you could actually come in and just remove that from the library, and that would disconnect it, so you don't have to have that. So all this stuff is totally customizable. We're trying to give you sophisticated starting places here. So let's say you live in a part of the country where you don't need seismic restraints. So all you need to do is you would come up here under the three dots and you'd edit the section, and you would hit the minus sign, and that'll get rid of the straps, so you won't even have it anymore. When you're done with that, you would want to hit Save Template. And when you hit Save Template, you'll actually have an opportunity to rename it, which isn't a bad idea if you're getting started with this. You might call it whatever your company name is, Narrative Template or whatever, and that'll actually fork the template. So from here on out, you'll have the original one, but then you're going to start your version. And whenever you want to save something with the template, you just hit Save Template. Also understand that if you just are saving the narratives, like this thing we would call a narrative, if you were to come up here and update library and save that, you don't also need to hit Save Template. You can make changes to every library comment and just simply update the library, and you're good to go. So the saving template is for everything other than the narrative comments. Okay, so now I've jumped over to the roofing section, and we're going to describe the roof and how we inspected it. So we walked on the roof, and maybe we even used a drone, and then we'll get a little note about drone use, and we could describe the roof style. We could describe flashings, present and visually standard. So I'll just leave that blank if they're really messed up, but that's just kind of my note about what flashings are. Maybe it was an architectural grade shingle and it's approximately 10 to 15 years old and it's not an overlay. You see, if it is an overlay, multiple layers, we've got different comments that we could select. Down below, all of these descriptions, which are designed to appear in the report, you're actually going to see a bunch of other things here, and these are what we call inspector-only notes. So composition new looks professional, composition new repairs needed, composition older tune-up repairs needed. These are essentially most of my roofs that I inspect are composition, and I can use most of these comments that this is kind of every comment that I would need. So let's say I see an older roof that needs repairs, I would click on that, and this is what we call a parent comment in ScribeWare. And it's saying, hey, roof repairs are recommended. And if you want, you could switch that over to say roof maintenance is recommended. And in this template, the newest version, I've got a lot of these all caps blue titles, and it really makes the reports look good. It makes them easier to read, so I like those. And all of this yellow is text replacement. So if this were a 3-tab shingle, we could move it over there, and we could say about how long these types of shingles are designed to last, and that really like 15 to 18 years is realistic for a 3-tab. Looks like there's one little get a space there. So now I've kind of switched this from an architectural grade to a 3-tab in order to just, kind of show you guys how you do that. And then what I would do is you can see how the end of this comment is examples of specific observations noted during inspection include. So what's cool about this is it's very rare to find one problem with the roof. There's often 20 problems with the roof. And you can just grab a bunch of pictures, drop them in, and caption them. And I'll show you how to do that real quick. Okay, I went and got a couple of pictures. I loaded them into my media gallery, and I'm going to highlight some of these. When I'm using my mobile, I will often use voice to text to caption defects. So we hit this button, we pulled this comment up, we were able to quickly manipulate it from an architectural grade to a 3-tab, and then what I'm going to do is put my cursor here and hit this button, and this is the photo captions button, but that's going to kind of make this little bulleted list. So now we've got really kind of a nice comment here. We'll make this a little bigger. This will kind of closer to how it lays out. You can see I use Grammarly, which is actually kind of nice. So you need to own it. You can't just use the online version, but that's what these little tabs are for some Grammarly stuff. But you can see what a nice comment I made, and that's all one comment rather than having 10 different repair comments under roofing. And really, to make this comment, it didn't take me long. I was able to use my voice to text to caption these pictures, and I hit a little button to get this parent comment. And you can see I spend a little time tweaking it, but that's how I will handle a lot of systems on a building. I will use this technique for siding, for roofs, for decks, for electrical, for windows, for doors. Anytime you have multiple defects with the same system, take a picture and caption it, and then use a parent comment and our photo captions to bullet feature. Okay, so this template, I've jumped back into the water heater section, and this template also uses quite a few sophisticated text replacement techniques. So you can see this water heater is likely close to the end of its life. If you see that, I can quickly toggle it over to these water heaters. Budget to replace these water heaters. So that way I can have one comment and it'll serve two purposes. If you wanted to, you could even come up here and add an S. Whoops. All caps, there we go, add the S. Now you may be wondering what this little pen is down here. So this is a little mini gunny sack. So I've added this to the base of my comment, and because I haven't selected anything out of it, it's actually not going to print in the report. Now if I want this to print in the report, I would select something from it. So I can double click on that To best preserve this tank, you could consider a servicing where it's flushed. And then I've got a one for multiple tanks. These tanks used in conjunction with boiler systems can often last a lot longer than regular water heaters, and that's true. So I might check that, and now how cool. I have the same comment. It's an older water heater, but I've added nuance to the comment that's specific. And this is the kind of stuff that, some people don't want to take the time and do this. It's another click, it adds time, but I always wanted to be super specific with my reports, and this lets me do it with the click of a button. So I've always felt that it was worth that time for me. Okay, now I'm jumping over into the electrical distribution and finish system. So you can see that let's look at these inspector only notes. And again, these inspector only notes are not going to print in the report, even if you select them. These are going to stay hidden. If I choose something, the comment will show up, but this whole one electric comment will stay hidden. And that really allows the inspector to build out their own kind of greatest hits stuff. So this should start looking familiar. This is kind of a parent comment that's like, wow, there's a lot wrong with the wiring system. And I'm going to use my photo captions to bullets for this technique. And you can see I've got a little cursor here, examples of specific. And I might make a list of 20 electrical repairs and say, boy, you need an electrician here. So that's my sort of parent comment if I'm rolling it all into one. But we also have individual comments. You might find an open junction box or inadequate support for an M cable. And there's nothing wrong with using just individual comments. I've tried to add these all caps blue titles to everything, but not everything has one. So let me show you how you add it. We just tab it down, we go back up, and let's say open junction box noted, and we will highlight it. We're going to give it bold and blue. So, and then you're going to come up here and you're going to update library. So I know that's another thing that's a little bit more time, but again, if you read some of my newer finished reports, I think this really helps so that somebody can scan a detailed report quickly and see what the comments are about. I love these little observation titles. Okay, and you can also simply just write a comment. So let's say you don't want to use something in the library. You could add observation. Now everything in ScribeWare is keyword searched. So if I start typing in the word splice, it's going to running splice. It's looking through the library of comments to find that stuff. But you could write your own comment. You could just say open splice noted, right? And then come down here. Repair the open splice in the wiring in the crawl space, right? So I'm just giving you an example. There's no reason in the world you can't make your own comments. You could come up here and give it a bold, whatever you want, and you could add to library. You could also edit in library and give it a little label. So Dave's new comments, if you want to, we could add as a new library entry. And now this blue title will stay hidden, but you'll have this comment. And what's cool about that is now you could hit add observation and just start typing in if your name is Dave. Boom, there it is. And that's a nice way to start adding in your own comments. To get this, if you want to use a lot of your own comments and make it mobile friendly, I would encourage you to hit the add favorites. And let's close this now, and we'll view the favorites, and there's Dave's new comment. This will allow you to quickly get that comment on your mobile device, which will just help you find all the greatest hits. So let's say you like this template, but each section you want to add 10 of your own comments. You could use this technique to roll your comments in, add them to favorites, and you'll be able to quickly find them on the mobile app. So great, guys. I hope this is just a real quick overview. We've got our whole directions that will give you in-depth training, but this template has been used for probably 5,000 home inspections, or a lot more now that other people are using it. So again, this template's really designed for pretty detailed reports that you want to finish back in the office, and where your goal is to kind of grab market share by just writing better reports than everyone else. I hope this helps, and we look forward to working with you.